Now we move ahead with the transfer pricing. Now here, before going to this transfer pricing, let me make you understand about the where exactly it is applicable. Um, we have the companies under the corporate umbrella, like we have the Reliance Industries. Can you name some of the corporate umbrellas now, apart from Reliance, the corporates, the giants, which are into different variety of businesses? Hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name some of the corporates?
Tata.
Tata Group, yes, or hey, hello, no,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, hello. Now see here, when the companies are operating into different sort of businesses, okay, they define their businesses in terms of their products or offerings, we can say. Maybe they are, now if you consider Tatas are into which sort of businesses, which type of businesses they are. Tatas are into automobiles, yes. TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, isn't it? They are into consultancy services. Then, hello, hello,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Tata Group is into consultancy services. They are into motors. Tatas are into chemicals. They are into the steel industries. हम जो Titan brand है watches का, that is again Tata. They are into consumer products. Whether they are into the power industry, yes. Whether they are into financial industry like Tata Capital, whether they are into hospitality industry like Taj, isn't it? Chain of hotels, hospitality industry. So here they are into different groups. जैसे Tata Tea है, Tetley, Tata Tea. तो क्या है? When the companies are into different businesses, okay, we say they are corporate giants. Now, many a times, what happens? These are known as the strategic business units. The individual unit is known as the strategic business units. Usually, there are three characteristics of this SBU, that is strategic business units. They are like it is a single business or collection of related business. Now, what now I spoke of, whether it is into a related business for the Tatas, just now I took an example. So they are not into the related business. Okay. So many times the companies are into the related product lines or they are into different varied businesses. It has its own set of competitors. Okay. It has a manager who is responsible for strategic planning and profit performance, and who controls the factors that are affecting the profits. Now, suppose if you consider the rayon industries. Okay, the threads. Okay, nylon threads are there. There is a company which is having a nylon thread, okay, which is just manufacturing the thread. The threads are used for many purposes, isn't it? Maybe you go for fishing nets, maybe rayons are used for the ropeways, etc., etc. So the company which is manufacturing this rayon threads, okay, it is selling to the other industries, those who are again producing a finished product from this. Similarly, at the same time, the same company's sister concern, the other company is also manufacturing the finished goods. Okay. So here, this thread manufacturing company is selling to the outsiders as well as it's the sister concern, isn't it? So when it is selling under the same corporate giant, both the companies with the related businesses are selling the products, that is raw material, as it goes as a raw material, no, to the other allied company or industry. So here there is a price match. Whatever is the output price of the thread industry becomes the input price for the allied uh, industry, which is going again for further processing on it to maybe manufacture the fishing nets or, as I said, the ropes. So here, this specifically those companies which are interconnected or interlinked, there are the price adjustments. Now here the price at which the others they purchase the threads, while the sister concern which is purchasing from this sister concern, okay, here both the prices are different, as it is the entity of the corporate giant, there the price are adjusted. Okay, so it is usually the price transfer pricing. Transfer price is usually the price that is paid for goods and services which are transferred from one unit, one strategic business unit, to the other strategic business unit. Okay, this is known as the transfer pricing. Now understood what is the meaning of transfer pricing? Now here, when the company considers the transfer pricing, okay, both of the companies are profit centered or profit generating strategic business units. So here, when the price is transferred, okay, so that price is reflected in the cost price of the sister concern. So that's why we say it's a transfer price. Now, what are the reasons for this transfer price? First thing is that we say each business unit is a profit center for as far as their individual unit is considered. Okay, the company takes into consideration all the performance. When you take the performance of the strategic business units, the company takes the individual unit and its performance. It needs to allocate the resources in the appropriate proportion to this strategic business units. So here, when we take into consideration the profits, somewhere it is a reflection of the allocation of resources also. Now, it is much more important for the management accounting and reporting purpose. That is one thing. Second thing, as I said, it is for the allocation of resources. And third thing, where there are regional or geographical locations, they do change. It is for the tax purpose. Now, in some countries, these taxes they do vary from one nation to other nation. Many a times, this import export, the taxes levied on import export, they vary. And to take the advantage of these taxes, the companies purposefully go for transfer pricing. Suppose in a particular nation, if the uh, tax on the imports of raw material is very less, So in that case, the companies take this opportunity as a strategic advantage to enter with the raw materials and have their own assembling plants in those nations. So here the surcharge on the pricing, transfer pricing, okay, they get the advantage of it in taxes, the benefits in taxes. So this is about the transfer pricing. Now moving ahead with the next part is the dynamic pricing. Now what is this dynamic pricing? Now it is also a type of, now these are the strategic type of pricing methods where the company takes into consideration the strategy. So when I speak or when I come across the word strategic, what do you mean by this? Strategic, strategy, strategic. Hello. When can the companies think of going for strategy? When there are competitors. Okay. So when there is competition in the market, then only the companies can think of going for the strategies. Otherwise, if they are enjoying the monopoly or the major market share, they will not think much about the strategies. So usually when this transfer pricing or dynamic pricing, transfer pricing usually in international markets, dynamic pricing wherever there is much more competition, more competitors are there in the market, there the companies think of having this dynamic pricing method. That is the dynamic pricing means flexibility in the pricing methodology. Suppose if there are more competitors, okay, if the quality of the product is at par with the competitor, and if you reduce the price, now it depends the factors, there are many, like it depends upon the demand sensitivity. There are many kind of products where like convenience goods, if you increase the price, people will not buy because it is a daily routine product. They will directly be switching off to some other competitor in case of convenience goods. If it is a luxurious goods, in that case there is more comparison, the decision making process takes a longer time in terms of luxury goods or so-called uh, premium goods. There, these companies cannot think of lowering the price. If they lower the price, then there is a question of quality. So the companies should adapt the dynamic or flexibility in pricing. When to reduce the price and when to increase the price, the companies should understand. Now, with the backdrop, in this backdrop of this COVID situation, you will find that there are certain industries or companies which are doing very well, while there are others which are at a lower side. They are not performing well. So here they come up with the strategies. Maybe they lower down the cost to increase the demand. They just want to survive in the market, and that's why they undertake this dynamic pricing. So here, the promotional part which we had seen, okay, the promotional offers which we had seen, they also can be a part of this dynamic pricing, the promotional pricing. Okay, now here, suppose if it is a cutthroat competition, now if you just have a look at this retail industry, okay, in Pune, we have the retailers, like we have the Big Bazaar, we have the D-Mart, we have the other malls, but there is no comparison as far as the other malls are considered, and a retail store like Big Bazaar or Reliance or D-Mart. If you take a mall like In Orbit or which come into those things, the mob is different. The ambience is very much different. So here, these retail outlets, they usually have this dynamic pricing model because of the cutthroat competition. They have the offers. They want to push the products in the market. Now today they are ready to provide free services to the customers. DMart had started the door delivery. Even the Geo Market, okay, they started with the same thing. The Big Bazaar started with the same thing. Okay, so here, how to reach the customers and survive in the market? When the question of survival in the competitive market comes, then the role of dynamic pricing, in that case, it gains more importance. Or we can say um, the dynamic pricing is related to the market situations. Yeah. The next is pricing in the online market. Now, yeah, today, if you see, majority of the people, they have shifted from offline stores to the online marketing, online stores. Now, previously, we also had the brick and click model, that is both ways. For whom, whoever it is possible, they used to visit the stores. For whom, those who are busy and they just don't like to roam and just walk, sit in front of the PCs with the buttons, they play and everything is ready for them. But now today, most of them, they go for this online marketing because of the COVID situation. So here, what about the pricing strategies which these companies use? First and foremost thing, do we get the offerings at a cheaper rate? What do you feel in this online marketing? Do you feel that the prices are a bit lower as compared to the offline visiting the stores? Now here it is but obvious that when the company takes the promotional strategies, okay, here there is no intermediary. Intermediary in the sense that there is no dealers or retailers margin as such. Though they may have the logistic linkages. Now, though you give the order online, the goods are physically delivered at your doorstep, isn't it? From where do these things get delivered? Maybe from the retail outlet. So here that margin, okay, of the intermediaries is passed on to the customers. And when the customer purchases, it does not happen that the customer purchases one good at a time. If you consider the consumer goods, if you consider the consumer goods, usually here it takes into account more than one item. So there are purchases made which benefits the company again in gaining their profit margin. So here the companies generally think of promotional means. Like we had the flash sales, which happen usually in case of online marketing. So here, this benefits the customer also because they are getting the price at a lower price they are getting. And from the manufacturer's point of view, with the help of some intermediary, that is online platform, okay, online interface, they get the orders, which otherwise they would have to give the margin to the intermediaries, promote them, push them. Maybe Salesforce is into it. They have to spend on the Salesforce, their training. They visit the retailers, the dealers, convince them, give them some discounts, show them some carrots, okay? And then the product is pushed into the market in the traditional form. But now in the online marketing, this all headache, it is saved. With the tie-ups with these companies, it becomes much more easier to place the product on this online market, online space. You just need to pay them, like you have the Amazons or the Snapdeal, Flipkart, okay? And there are the discounts also offered in case of bulk purchasing, or maybe in the mix of offerings. If you have 2 3 products clubbed together, many a times there is a offer. Here, what is saved and the reach is again important. The amount spent and the reach in the online marketing. So it's cheaper as compared to the usual traditional means. Well, otherwise you will have to spend more on the advertising, making the customers aware. Here, through the online mode, easily the customer comes to know about the product, about its review through this social media marketing. So it helps in lowering the price of the product. From the manufacturer's point of view, it's a very good marketing tool. And even from the buyer side, because they can compare the prices very easily. They have the online store. Okay. On the mobile also, wherever they roam, they can just place the order. Now, these are about the price adaptation strategies. These are different strategies. Now, here, many of them, if you see, the companies were there in the online marketing, many of them, they have shifted to online marketing. While many of them, they have shifted from online marketing to the store marketing also. So now it depends upon the company's strategies, what exactly the company's objectives are in pricing. So these are about the price adaptation strategies. Now we move to the next part, that is initiating and responding to the price changes. How the company responds, or what are the ways in initiating the price cuts. Now here there are generally two options. One thing is initiating price cuts, and against this is initiating price rise or increase in the price. When the companies think of lowering down the price, and when the company thinks of increasing the price. Now there are certain conditions wherein the firm thinks of going in for the price cuts. Like maybe the company may have more capacity, production capacity, it has needs additional business, and it cannot generate through the sales, efforts, through the product improvement or other measures. So it may resort to the aggressive pricing. But again, this may give rise to this price cut strategy may give rise to the price war in the market. That is the possibility. Now, another thing, when the company observes that there is the decrease in its market share, okay, just to survive in the market or keep a hold, it may think of reducing the price. Also, companies sometimes initiate price reduction in a drive to dominate the market through lower cost. So Walmart is very much famous for adapting this strategy of price cuts to dominate the market. Now here, either the company starts with a lower cost than its competitors, or it initiates price cuts in the hope of gaining market share and lower cost. But a price cutting strategy, it involves the possible traps also here. If we compare, the first one is the low quality trap, where the companies, where the customers, sorry, they perceive that when the prices are low, it is directly related to the quality of the product. So somewhere they associate the inferior quality with the low price. That is one thing, which is the possibility. Second thing is the fragile market share trap. A low price buys low market share, but not market loyalty. So here maybe initially you may gain customers. The companies can gain customers, but as far as the loyalty is considered, the loyalty of the customers is questionable in this case. As the competitor will come with the price reduction, these people who are going to shift, the customers will shift to those. So there is no guarantee as far as the customer loyalty is considered. Then there is shallow pockets trap. That is, the higher price competitors may cut their prices and may have longer staying power because of deeper cash reserves. They may have more cash reserves and that's why they succeed. So these are some of the traps in case of initiating the price cuts. If we consider the initiating the price increase or price rise, okay, your now increase in the price rise will ultimately give rise to more profits, more of the revenue generation here. Now, basic thing in the increase in the price we all know is the cost inflation. The rising costs unmatched by the productivity. There is a gap as far as the rising cost is considered and the productivity gains are considered, which again reduces the profit margins here and lead companies to regular increase in the prices. Now, petroleum prices, if you see, it is one of the best examples here. They are on rise, isn't it? Because of the inflation. Now, companies think of rising their prices by more than the cost in the anticipation of the future inflation, or maybe due to the government price controls in practical aspect. Now, this is called as the anticipatory pricing. Maybe in the future, the companies anticipate that there would be more inflation and they think of increasing the price. Another thing is the over demand. When suppose there is a over demand with reference to a particular offering, then the companies can think of increasing the price just to restrict the demand. That is also possibility here. Now this has a impact on the buyers also. Now here, like you may have the delayed quotation pricings. The company does not set the final price until the offering is finished or it is delivered in that case. Then there is the escalator clauses where the company requires the customer to pay today's price and all or part of any inflation increase that takes place before the delivery. The next is the unbundling, like the company maintains its price but removes or prices separately one or more elements that were part of the maybe the former offering, that remove it sometimes. So there are no extra offers given. So the promotional pricing aspects are removed here in this case of initiating increase in the price. The reduction in discounts is also possible many a times here. Now it totally depends upon the company whether to raise its price sharply on a one-time basis or in small amounts many a times. So here it depends upon the companies what exactly would be their modus operandi here. Now, these are all the strategic options which have its own reasoning as well as they have their own results, or we can say consequences. Now here the options are like they can maintain the price and the perceived quality in case they have the customer loyalty and smaller market share they have, the companies. In case of price rise in the price and the perceived quality, they need to cover the rising costs. They improve quality just to justify the higher prices here. Again, here they have the smaller market share. If there is a cut in the price partly and rise in the perceived quality, the reasoning would be to give customers some price reductions. Okay, but the stress would be on higher value. So here the objective would be to maintain the market share basically. Cut the price fully and reduce the perceived quality is like you are not encouraging the competition here and maintain the profit margin. So here even the market share is maintained. So these were some of the objectives and the reasoning results or the consequences. Now coming to reactions to price changes. Okay, this is the last point of this chapter. Reactions to the price changes. Now reactions from the customer's perspective and reactions with reference to the competitor's perspective. How both of them they would react to the price changes. If you take the first one, that is the uh, customers' reactions. Now here, usually the customers, they analyze the price changes. If it is, there is an increase in the price, and if they come to know, obviously, then in that case, they start thinking about it. If there is a decrease also, they start thinking about it. Price decrease, again, perceived quality is a problem. Increase in the price, again, that is another problem. So these things should be justified by the marketer. That is what is the expectation as a customer. Now here, this price cut is interpreted by the customers in a number of ways, like whether the item is faulty and that's why it's not selling, and so the company has reduced the price. Whether the competitor has gained more market share, and that's why to just grab the market share, the company is thinking of lowering down the price. Whether the company is in financial trouble, whether there is some financial problem with the company, whether in the future the companies will come down, whether the quality of the product has been reduced. These are some of the customer reactions. Now the customers are very much sensitive to the offerings which are bought frequently. They usually don't notice the higher prices on the low cost items. Okay, those which are, you can say, convenience goods, they're even a smaller change may not be noticed by the customers. But when we consider the products in the higher cadre, a small difference in amount is noticeable by the customers, and they start analyzing, and here the company has to give some justification about the increase or decrease in this price changes here. This is from the customer's perspective. So here, basically, the psychology of the customer has to be understood, and proper justifications are to be given by the company. Once these match, then there is no problem. Now, from the competitor's side, now the competitors are most likely to react to the price changes. Now, one way is to assume from the company's perspective that the competitor is going to react in a set way to price changes. That is one thing. Second thing is to assume that the competitor treats each price change as a fresh challenge, and he comes up with his own strategy. So here this again depends upon the number of competitors, if they are more, if they are less, into which type of market they are, into which type of product category the company is, what is the share of the company, what is the share of the competitors. If it is profit maximization is the objective, or otherwise whether the increase in the shares is the objective. So depending upon this, there would be counter reactions from the competitors. Now here the one is not able to think about the competitor's interpretation about the price cut. If the company has gone for the price cut, the competitor also can think of going in for the price cuts by giving some leverage. Whether the company is financially very strong, then the company can afford, the competitor company can afford it. But otherwise, if the companies keep the prices all at the same level, and the customer perceives that the earlier company which has reduced the prices because of the quality issues, then again there would be a problem. Now, how does this companies respond to the competitors' price change. Now, in case of the product homogeneity, where the products are homogeneous, the companies can think of innovative ways of changing the augmentation of the product, maybe giving some differentiation to the customers, some varied services which the company has not thought of. That is one thing. Next thing, for the homogeneous product, the market or the firm has more scope to operate. Here the company needs to think why the competitors is changing the price basically. Is it just to grab the market share, or he wants to go for excess capacity utilization? Does the competitor plan to make the price change, whether it's a temporarily or on the permanent basis? What will happen if the company's market share, they do not increase in spite of lowering the price, or the profits also they don't go up? So these are some of the issues here which the company should think of. Usually market leaders go for the aggressive price cutting here. They face these problems. Now here the brand leader or the market leader can respond to these price changes. Like they can maintain the same price and profit margin also, believing that it would lose too much of profit if reduced price. They would reduce the market share. The leaders believe that it can hold good customers. They are confident that they have the customers who are very much loyal here. Next thing is to maintain the price and add value, where the leader could improve its product, services, and communications. In case of reduction of price, the costs fall with the volume. It would lose market share because the market is price sensitive. That is the possibility here. Increase price and improve quality is one of the other strategy which the leaders can think of while reacting to the competitors' price. It can think of building the quality, raise the price, but at the same time emphasize on the quality and make aware the customers that our quality is good and hence the price matches. Launch a low price fighter line, like you can take into consideration that to create the awareness about the lower price product. So these are some of the strategies which the leaders can think of against the price changes offered by the mid segment or mid markets. Now, any doubts as far as the pricing chapter is considered? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
If there are no doubts, hello? Then we will stop here. In the next session, we will start with the channel of the distribution, the next chapter, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.